Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and this is going to be part number 4 of our playthrough of Renegade by Ricky Royal, currently on Kickstarter. And in our last video, I actually realized that that one information card, which I don't exactly have it out on the game board here, but if you want to take a look at my prior video, I had one blue card left in my hand with 2 information commands, and I turfed it. Actually, it would have been a really wise decision, and I'm going to do it now based on some awesome feedback from the Nimrel. If I'm even pronouncing his name right, he's probably going to shoot me for that. But it's an awesome suggestion in order to avoid losing my data nodes, because one thing I forgot was during the Sparks battle step of the countermeasures phase, which happens at the end of a cycle, if there's any contaminants in the same partition with a spark, they're just blown away. So we would have essentially lost these 2 data nodes right here. Now, if I had a reverse time and fixed that, this spark would have been here, and really what I would have wanted to have done before the Sparks battle step would have blown away this one and this one because of the sparks in those spots, is I would have used that that blue card, which had 2 information on it, in order to do some fancy movement to head over to here in order to pick up the blue node, and then come back here for 1 movement, and then head over here for free, and then pick this up and come back for the 2nd movement. And that way all of my data nodes are safe. And then what would have happened is we would have rolled for sparks, this would have moved, and everything would have been dandy. So I'm leaving it like this thanks to the awesome suggestion I got from the Nimrel. I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Okay, so this is kind of the start right now of the 2nd cycle of the 1st round of that 2nd cycle. And you know, based on that crazy silver card we pulled, and even Ricky Royal saw it and was kind of looking at us sideways going, or not really looking at us sideways, he was just telling me good luck with this one pretty much. It says have 1 or more viruses on every open partition on Virtue and Salvation. So we're talking every single partition of these 2 servers right here. That's going to be super tough. I already feel like I'm going to fail without even trying, but I'm going to give it my best shot to do something. So let's take a look at my cards and see what we can do in terms of the Hack Shack to see just really what's a good option. So again, we've got a couple decent cards in here. The obvious one to do for me is to go ahead and pick up Data Shift. The reason is I still have a Data Steal, which is only 1 information, so I'll do a quick delete. We'll take this card into our hand, and that's an obvious grab. So we'll add that in, gives us a little bit more. If we come over here, the only other things we have are Digital Tattoo, which is 1 Cognition, I believe. Yes. These ones here are Deception, so we can go ahead and pay 3 Deception or 2 Deception in order to acquire those. I only have 1 that allows me 2 Deception. So I'm probably, this turn, going to likely go for this one. And the reason why I think this one's a better card than this one is just because of the fact you got the leadership on there, and as well the bottom ability says you can execute it to delete 1 spark on your partition, and then you may add 1 replicant. That sounds really handy right now, whereas this just allows me to swap partitions with sparks. Not really going to be helpful when I need viruses. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this one, even though we picked it up in a prior round, and exchange it for the self-modifying inhibitors. Now we've got this in hand. Okay, now the other ones are a little tougher because we need 3 and 1 of those particular symbols, and we don't have them, although I could blow away leadership to do it. I'm not going to. So I'm going to be happy and just stick with what I have in this hand. Now it's a little bit rough because it's kind of all over the place. It's not really focused in one particular color. So we're going to have to make do. My plan of action, guys, is really debatable. I'll tell you that much right now. Really, what I'm thinking in my mind is one of these 2 servers is going to fall, and it's going to fall hard. I'm not going to be able to get, I don't think I'm going to be able to get viruses on all these in just 3 rounds, especially with the hand that I've been given here. I'm going to try my best to get viruses at least on 1 server. So in other words, like protect 1 and then just say the heck with the other one and basically do damage control on it. The question really becomes which of the 2 of these I should be doing that on. Now, where I get a little bit worried is it says I need to have viruses on these servers. This server already has 2 sparks. So, and it's also closer attached to me. So I'm kind of wondering whether this would make more sense to go after first in order to also deal with some sparks. Maybe I can get some lucky virus rolls and kill these things off, you know, and clear this off. And then in terms of this one, it's so far away that if it does start pumping out Guardians or getting nasty or anything else that could happen from that ridiculous card, the Viral Overload, then I'm somewhat okay. So it's tough. It's tough to know which of the 2 I should be going for, but because this one's here and it's closer to me, I have a better chance of trying to cover everything on Salvation server. So we'll give it a shot. Okay, so what are we going to do here? Well, my plan was, at least, was to think about doing a couple things. First off, we got to talk about all the sparks that are currently in my area, which is bad. So sparks are obviously going to delete contaminants in their same spot. So I'm going to have to get all these out of here at some point. Double sparks are always bad because at the spark stage where they move at the end of a cycle, they're all going to start shifting around, and that's when guardians start showing up. So really, we want to do quick shots at them and kind of kill off the ones that have 2 sparks to the best of our ability, but knowing full we can't mitigate it fully because we still have we still have the partition die and the server die to roll, and we're rolling 2 of them every single time, which is just crazy. So we'll be rolling that 6 times throughout the cycle, which is nuts. So what I'm going to end up doing here is trying to survive. The biggest focus for me would be, well, let's take a look at my cards here. I have this card here, says Sidekick. Now, yes, I can combine this with Sabotage in order to create a virus. That would be good. And it's just, I don't know if this is the right time to do that, just creating a virus here. I do need the virus up in this area, so that's the tough thing. But if I start letting all this go downhill, that could be really bad as well. It's hard to know when it's a good time to kind of give up and run. But the thing is, like I said, once those guardians start piling up, if I can't take them out, I'm in trouble. So I'm going to go ahead and probably use the bottom of this sidekick ability. It says, or execute to instead delete 1 spark on your partition or an adjacent one. And this is where it gets iffy, but essentially, because I'm on this neural hub, I essentially could ghost myself to any of these partitions. I could delete this one if I wanted to. I could, and stuff like that. So this is one that I could delete from, or I could just choose to delete from adjacent from me to this one. So it's kind of a, you know, which one's better? Well, neither. I mean, this one's the most risky because we know that the mother will keep putting sparks right here, and that's a guarantee, whereas Faith, it's not a guarantee. So let's go ahead and put the, let's use the sidekick in order to delete the spark from this adjacent partition. I'm going to hope that I can put enough viruses in here to deal with these sparks. So this card's now discarded, so I'll put that there. What else we got here? So we have, this one here says, execute to delete 1 spark on your partition, then you may add 1 replicant. Okay, that's good. And that might be perfect when we head over here. So I could head over here, delete the spark off this partition, and then kind of head out. Or I could, yeah, it might be a good idea to knock that spark out because I'm going to be spending so much time over here for the last couple cycles. I'm going to need to be able to stay over here for at least 2 not cycles, but rounds. I want to stay over here and not have to keep running back to this area to keep deleting the sparks. So let's try it. It's kind of a risk either way. So we're going to shoot from the hip here. In terms of moving, I don't have a data node here anymore. So it's going to cost me movement to move here. It's going to cost me a movement to move here. So that kind of sucks. And I want to go there mainly because I can use this data port to teleport to anywhere on the map, which would be extremely useful. I can jump myself to any partition I want. And I want to drag enough contaminants with me that it makes logical sense. Oh, this is tough. Okay, so what I might do is, let me think about this. Actually, you know what? I'm changing my plan here. I'm going to yeah, we'll replicate desire. Oh, this is tough. I was thinking of potentially, if I delete this one over here instead of the one I deleted over here, I could walk through here and pick it up and drag it off. That's the thing. I could potentially, because my ability with Tilda Sweet is that I can pick up a spark along with 3 contaminants, and I can bring them away. So I could also do that. And then I can hold on to the deleting of a spark until later. No, I still want to delete the spark though. Okay, so what does this one do? Self-modifying inhibitor. Sorry about that, I had to kind of think with this. So execute to delete 1 spark on your partition, and you may add a replicant. That's not bad. You know what? I'm going to probably head here and do the deleting. Maybe I'll just grab this spark, because what's going to end up happening, guys, if I leave this face server, these things are going to eventually start moving. And if they connect here, they will destroy everything here. That guardian will just destroy this neural hub, and I want to keep that. So maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some movement. So let's go ahead and burn a data shift card, giving me 2. And what I end up doing actually is, well, let's see how this pans out. If I end up moving with data nodes, I got to be careful because I can't actually bring all the data nodes to this area because there can never be more than 3. So I can pick up 2, knowing that I can drop 1 off along the way, and then, yeah, that'll work. So we're going to pick these 2 up. We're going to leave this data node here. I can't move the neural hub. So I'm going to move to here for 1 of the movement from the data shift, bringing with me 2 of these. I'm going to drop 1 of them off here. And then I'm going to move, to here. And this is, now that I've dropped this 1 off, it's a free action. So I still have 1 information left to use. And now I'm going to spot with 3 of the nodes and the spark. I'm going to use my last movement to shoot myself over to 6, and I'm bringing with me a spark and all 3 data nodes for the first trip anyway. I'm going to leave these 2 there. These are all going to come with me over here. It's not a flare, so I got 3 over here, and that's it. So that's essentially burning my data shift. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend this data shift, and I'm going to... Ooh, I got to be careful with this. Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna spend this in order to convert these 3 into another kind of basically it's not a hyperport, a data port. I want to put another data port down. The reason is that oh, actually, you know what? Can I do that? That's the question. I brought these with me. I don't think I can install with the spark there. Let me just double check. With an install action, no spark or guardian, and also cannot have 2 the same installation. Worse. So I got to get rid of this spark somehow. So this is where I kind of go, okay, maybe I need to use, before I go ahead and use the second data shift to create it, I'm going to use this one here called the self-modifying inhibitor to delete a spark on your partition. You can add 1 replicant, so that's fine. So I'm going to do that. We're going to delete this spark, which I'm happy with. I'm going to add a replicant because I absolutely definitely want to. I'll be able to shift that over at some point. And the other thing too is the more of these I get, the better, because later I'm going to grab this replicant jar and I'm going to try to flip them all to virus. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to use my data shift. I put that one back in my hand. I'm going to use it again right now to put these or to install, sorry, the data port. So here we go, getting a data port in there. So now I can basically jump back and forth without having to worry about movement all that much and deal with, you know, things. I can get around a little quicker now, which is good. Plus I still got a couple things here to quickly get me over to this neural hub if I need to do any kind of rescue operation on whatever's going on Faith. I still have 1 card left, and it's the sabotage card. I don't have to use it, and there's nothing really major I can do. So I think I'm just going to stop and not use it. I'll hold that one over, I think. So at this point now, we're going to go ahead and consider my turn done. And of course, when you're done, I've discarded all my played cards off to the side here. So we're going to go ahead now and let me just make sure I don't miss anything here. Yep, I'm keeping the sabotage card in hand. And we're going to go ahead and draw up 5 cards, and we're going to have that extra card for this turn, which is great. And maybe I'll get enough. That's awesome. I'm getting some red. That's good. I want to see lots and lots of red. And maybe yellow even, too. Okay, we've got quite a bit of green, too, so that's going to help. All right, we got some options here, and a lot of these are actually, well, half and half. Half advanced, half basic. We'll have to see how this goes. But we've got a couple good options. So this is essentially now after we've gone ahead and discarded things. Drawn up to our hand of 5 plus the one we carried over. Now we're at the end of turn step, so we're done. And now we can do our start of turn step. And our start of turn step always has the mother put the spark on our access point. Wonderful. So we got our spark right back here again, which is not good. But because we put that data port, remember, I can quickly jump back. I can even pick it up and bring it. I can shift it. I'll figure it out. We've even got a virus here that I could potentially roll. I could jump over and use a virus to roll against it in a future turn, and hopefully we can get lucky enough to knock it off. That would be great. So let's see how it goes. So that's good, and now we're going to roll for sparks. We're going to do restocking the Hack Shack. My mistake. So these 2 cards here are now gone We're going to pull 2 brand new cards to purchase. So let's see, quality and overwrite interrupt. So we got, this one here says, or execute to instead flip 1 contaminant on your petition, thus altering it to its other type. That's good. So both of these are great cards for what I need. This one here says, or interrupt after any infect action to instead add +2 to a Renegade's total infect score. That's great. So got a couple potential options here. So that's really good. So that is now finished. We're going to roll for sparks, which I want to avoid at all costs. I really don't want to see what happens here. Okay, it's white. And when it's white, if I'm not mistaken, it lands on your server. I'm pretty sure. Yep. So that's kind of unfortunate. And guys, guess where it lands? Right in my lap. Yep. Right here, right where I am. Now, I guess that's good because I can deal with it. At least it didn't go elsewhere. I don't know if that's good or not. We'll see. Oh my gosh. And then another spark. So it looks like Salvation, I think it is getting just a little bit too much action. So whenever you roll the white, it's always the server that your avatar is on. So basically, technically, if I rolled the red or I rolled the white, it would land on Salvation, giving you kind of like a 2, or I guess it's like a 1/3 chance of having the spark land on your partition, which is always fun. Okay, so that got really busy really quick, but at least, guys, we're going to have viruses there. So the potential is get the viruses out. The hard thing now is, like, how do I install contaminants? This is where it gets tricky because it's like, how am I going to go ahead and install viruses on these partitions when there's sparks popping up everywhere? Like, it's like almost like now I almost need to abandon ship and run over here and try and do it over here. Maybe I need to teleport over here and say the heck with this one. This is tough, and maybe this is why the mother is so hard. So I am learning the hard way, but that's what makes this game fun, because it's like you don't want to be able to beat this thing in the first go round. So okay, we gave that a shot. That turned out sadly. So we did our rolling, and now we're right back to playing command cards again. So we're right into our move, we're right into our turn. So I'm going to do a quick scan here so you can actually see what I have in my hand, so you can actually maybe take a look and decide what you think I should do. So I'm just going to do a quick little glide across the cards so you can kind of see what I've got in my hand and what are my options. There you go. And then, of course, we already know what the mother is going to do every single turn and what our goal is. We also have these cards in the Hack Shack currently, and these are the ones that are going to be something we're going to have to focus on, because we're going to probably need, I'm thinking we're needing the middle two. We're going to probably need all 3 of these end ones if we can get them. But the great thing is 2 of them are low cost, and I should be able to acquire them pretty quickly. So that's it for the end of Cycle 2, Round 1. Hope you guys are enjoying. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you see. If you saw anything I screwed up on, messed up on, or could have done better, let me know. Again, I'm doing this on the fly on video, so bear with me. It's a little bit to think through this game. It's definitely a thinking heavy game with lots of strategy. You can play this a million different ways. I'm sure someone could sit down and have used the exact same cards I did, came up with a totally different strategy. I could have never foreseen all the sparks to land on those on Salvation like that. I assumed it was a good idea, but it's looking rough now. Again, if I can at least clear 1 spark off my partition, I can start installing viruses there, and then maybe shifting them out using Cognition or like Cognition green cards. So that could potentially materialize into something. Who knows? But I'm going to do my best, regardless, to make this work somehow. Or you're going to watch me crash and burn, and that'll be just as entertaining, right? So anyway, hope you guys are enjoying, like I said, and let me know in the comments below what you think. And I will see you guys in the next episode of Renegade. Thanks again for watching, and keep on rolling solo.